Picture two apartments in the exact same building. The first one belongs to Kong, who makes $100,000 a year. Walk inside and it's stuffed. An 80-inch TV, a $4,000 leather couch, and closets overflowing with unworn sneakers. Kong checks his bank account with a knot in his stomach. He is exactly 2 missed paychecks away from total crisis. The second apartment belongs to a guy earning half as much. Walk inside and you'll notice one thing: space. This guy checks his bank account with calm confidence. He has 18 months of expenses saved and invests 20% of every paycheck. The person earning half as much has 10 times the financial security. This isn't a story about your salary. It's a story about the hidden, toxic relationship between your stuff and your money that most people never understand. Kong isn't stupid. He doesn't gamble. He just gradually built a lifestyle that requires every single dollar to maintain. Today, I'm going to walk you through the minimalist money rules that separate the rich from the perpetually broke. Let me start with a concept that will completely reframe every purchase you make for the rest of your life. Everything you own costs money twice. The first cost is obvious. It's the price tag on the receipt. But there is a second cost that everyone ignores, and it is usually much larger than the purchase price. The second cost includes storage, maintenance, mental energy, and massive opportunity cost. Take that massive racing simulator rig Kong bought. It takes up a huge chunk of his living room. Space costs money. He is paying $800 a year in implicit rent just to store a toy he uses as a clothes rack. The second cost includes mental energy. Every single item you own occupies a small slice of your attention. It needs to be organized, maintained, and worried about. Researchers found that visual clutter literally spikes your cortisol levels. Your stuff is literally stressing you out. And finally, the ultimate hidden fee: opportunity cost. Every dollar locked up in plastic possessions is a dollar not invested. That $3,000 racing setup? It could have been $3,000 in index funds growing to $10,000 for your future. You didn't just buy a toy, you bought your future financial freedom instead of buying a toy. Minimalists calculate the true cost and decide it's not worth it. Which brings us to Rule 1. Calculate cost per use. Before buying anything, estimate how many times you'll realistically use it. Divide the price by that number. A $200 jacket worn twice costs $100 per wear. That is an obscenely expensive way to dress yourself. Meanwhile, a $2,000 mattress used every single night for 10 years costs about 55 cents per use. The expensive item is actually cheaper. This math destroys marketing, emotion, and impulse purchases instantly. Rule 2. Apply the brutal replacement test to everything you already own. Walk through your home and ask, if this item magically disappeared today, would I spend my own money to buy it again? Be totally honest. Would you repurchase that bread maker collecting dust? Or those clothes you haven't worn in 18 months? For most items, the honest answer is no. They exist in your life entirely through inertia. These items have negative value. Every hour you spend organizing or cleaning them is an hour stolen from your life. Minimalists ruthlessly eliminate things that fail the test. Sell them, donate them, or throw them in the trash. Rule 3. Never upgrade out of boredom. This is a massive trap for people earning good money. They upgrade perfectly functional items simply because newer versions exist, and they want the dopamine hit. Kong's phone works flawlessly, but the new release has a slightly better camera, so he spends $1,200. These upgrades feel like progress. They are actually wealth destruction disguised as progress. Minimalists define functional strictly. An item is functional until it genuinely fails to serve its physical purpose. Boredom is not failure. The desire for a shinier color is not failure. If you stop this pattern across your whole life, you will easily save $200,000 over 30 years. Everything else is just a marketing department convincing you to solve a problem you do not have. Rule 4. Create brutal friction for spending and total ease for saving. Human behavior is lazy. We follow the path of least resistance. If spending is easy, you will spend. Minimalists don't trust their willpower. Willpower gets tired. They engineer their environment instead. Remove your saved credit card numbers from every single online store right now. Delete the shopping apps. Make yourself get up, find your physical wallet, and type the numbers manually. That 60 seconds of friction gives your logical brain time to wake up and stop a stupid purchase. Apply the 24-hour rule. If you want something, put it in the cart and literally close the laptop. 70% of the time, the urge evaporates by tomorrow morning. It was just a temporary dopamine spike. Now, reverse it for saving. Make saving money so frictionless it happens while you sleep. Set up automatic transfers to your investment accounts the exact second your paycheck hits. Treat saving like a non-negotiable tax, not an afterthought for whatever's left over. Rule 5. Obsessively count your possessions. It sounds completely crazy, but it works. Pick a category. How many pairs of sneakers do you own? Guess the number, then go actually count them. Most people discover they own 3 times more than they thought. The absurdity becomes visible. Once you realize you already own 14 black hoodies, buying a 15th feels completely ridiculous. Set maximum thresholds. Introduce a strict one-in, one-out policy for your closet. If you want a new pair of shoes, you have to throw away an old pair. This creates massive friction. Without limits, your junk will always expand to fill the available space in your home. Rule 6. Rent or borrow before you commit to ownership. Most things we buy get used intensely for exactly 2 weeks and then never again. Kong decides he wants to be a DJ. He spends $2,000 on a massive turntable setup. He plays with it 3 times. Now it's just an expensive, heavy dust collector in the corner. Minimalists test their enthusiasm first. Rent the DJ gear for a weekend. This reveals if your passion is genuine or if you were just bored on a Tuesday night. Closets across America are literal museums of abandoned hobbies. Photography gear, guitars, camping tents. Maintain the flexibility to explore life without the heavy financial burden of ownership. Rule 7. Understand the Lifestyle Multiplier Effect. This one destroys bank accounts. Every possession you own secretly connects to a dozen other mandatory purchases. You don't just buy an expensive camera, the camera demands lenses. The lenses demand a tripod, a protective case, editing software, and cloud storage. A purchase that seems singular actually triggers a massive cascade of supporting expenses. The true cost is never just the item itself, it is the entire ecosystem required to run it. A home gym requires rubber flooring, mirrors, heavy dumbbells, and structural reinforcement. Minimalists calculate the full ecosystem cost before they swipe their card. That $1,000 purchase actually represents $3,000 when all the multiplier expenses hit you. And the beauty is this works in reverse. Getting rid of one major item eliminates an entire category of bills. Sell the car you barely use, and you instantly eliminate insurance, gas, repairs, and parking fees. You're not just selling a car, you're buying back hundreds of hours of your life energy. That is the ultimate secret. Every time you say no to buying junk, you are saying yes to your freedom. You are choosing to own your life instead of letting your possessions own you. Rule 8. Define enough before you start earning more. This is the ultimate trap for high earners. They never define what the finish line looks like, so they just keep running forever. When their income increases, they immediately upgrade their entire lifestyle. The new luxury becomes quickly normal, so they need another raise just to feel okay. A guy making $300,000 can feel just as broke as a guy making $80,000. Minimalists break this trap. They decide in advance exactly what kind of home and car is actually sufficient. Defining enough creates a finish line. When your income grows past that line, everything changes. Every single extra dollar goes straight to buying your freedom instead of buying more junk. If you decide $60,000 is enough to be happy, and you start making $150,000, you win the game. Rule 9. Measure your wealth by optionality, not accumulation. Society measures success by visible markers: massive houses, shiny cars, designer clothes. But minimalists measure wealth differently. They measure it by what they can choose to do. Can you quit a toxic job tomorrow without panicking? Can you take 6 months off for your mental health? Those options represent true wealth, and they are only available if you have a massive gap between income and expenses. The guy making $200K but spending $195K is completely chained to his desk. He has 0 options. The guy making $80K but spending $40K is an absolute king. He can absorb shocks and take massive risks. The cash tied up in a luxury car you don't need is money that cannot buy your freedom when you desperately need it. Every purchase is a trade. You are literally trading your future options for a physical object today. Rule 10. Practice cyclical decluttering, not massive annual purges. Most people do a massive spring cleaning, feel amazing for a week, and then slowly buy everything back over the next 2 years until they are right back where they started. Minimalists do small, regular reviews. Getting rid of 3 useless items a week is totally sustainable. Trying to throw away 300 items at once is overwhelming and usually gets postponed forever. Regular reviews maintain your awareness. You start noticing your own toxic triggers. You realize you only buy dumb gadgets when you're stressed out at work. You treat the root cause, not the symptom. Here is the secret nobody tells you about minimalism. Owning less creates more money. But having more money in the bank actually makes owning less feel completely natural. When you have a massive safety net, the psychological urge to buy useless status symbols completely disappears. You don't need a designer watch to feel successful, because your bank account already proves it. People trap themselves in consumption to fill an emotional void created by financial insecurity. It's a destructive loop. Spending everything creates insecurity. Insecurity drives more spending to cope. But building real wealth creates a virtuous cycle. Saving creates security. Security destroys the urge to spend. These rules aren't about suffering, they're about recognizing that buying more stuff doesn't equal more happiness. Research proves that beyond a basic level of comfort, new purchases do absolutely nothing for your well-being. Minimalists spend enough to be comfortable and then redirect all the excess toward freedom. Let's go back to those 2 apartments. The guy with $52,000 and 18 months of savings. He didn't get there with a massive salary. He got there by having extreme clarity about what actually matters. The other guy is just 2 paychecks away from losing everything because he let his possessions own him. Both paths are available to you right now, regardless of what you currently earn. The choice is simply whether you want to own your stuff or let your stuff own you. The math strongly favors the first option, and so does the peace of mind. If you want to help Kong choose the right path and escape the financial matrix, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. We are going to build real wealth and break the cycle together. No more impulse buys, no more hidden costs, just freedom. See you in the next video where we tackle the next money trap.